She was watching cartoons, safe in her living room, when the screen went black. An emergency alert replaced it. A virus that turns people violent in minutes, faster than zombies, smarter than zombies. And the last thing she saw that day was her family turning into monsters. A little girl sat comfortably in her living room. She was watching cartoons on television. She felt safe. She felt protected. Suddenly, the cartoon froze. The screen went blank. An emergency broadcast replaced it. A serious announcement filled the screen. A deadly virus had spread across the world. This virus was not ordinary. It did not take days. It did not take hours. It worked in minutes. Infected humans became violent. They lost control. They behaved like animals. They were faster than zombies, stronger than zombies. And most terrifying of all, they could still think. The world would later call them ferals. Abigail's mother panicked. She immediately made a video call. Her husband appeared on the screen. He was a pilot. Behind him was chaos, sirens, running people, fear everywhere. From his eyes alone, the truth was clear. Cities had fallen. Entire regions were lost. The area where his family lived was one of the most dangerous zones left. "You have to leave," he said urgently. "You cannot stay there." Before ending the call, he tried to calm his daughter. He smiled at Abigail. Then he raised his hand toward the camera. Wrapped around his wrist was a bracelet, the bracelet Abigail had made for him. "I'll keep this forever," he promised, "and I'll come back to you." The call ended. Abigail never saw her father again. Abigail, her mother, and her brother rushed outside. Sirens screamed through the streets. People ran in all directions. The world had already collapsed. Suddenly, a feral attacked Abigail's mother. There was no warning, no time to react. Within seconds, her mother was infected. She transformed right in front of Abigail. Abigail froze. Her body would not move. Fear took over. Instinct saved her. She crawled under a nearby car. From beneath the car, she watched everything. The same feral attacked her brother. He screamed. Then he changed too. Abigail covered her mouth tightly. She made no sound. She understood one thing clearly. If she made noise, she would die. The ferals moved on. For a moment, Abigail thought she was safe. Then she saw her mother again. Her face was no longer human. Her eyes locked onto Abigail. She charged. A gunshot echoed. Her mother fell to the ground. A man stood there with a gun. His name was Cassius. He pulled Abigail out from under the car. He held her tightly as she shook. But Abigail was staring past him. Her brother was still transforming. Cassius understood immediately. He gently told Abigail to cover her ears. She obeyed. Another gunshot rang out. Her brother was gone. In just a few minutes, Abigail lost everything. Her mother, her brother, her father who never returned. From that moment on, Cassius became her family. 10 years later, the world was silent. No cities, no traffic, no voices, only wind and ferals. Cassius and Abigail survived deep in the forest. Abigail was no longer a child. She was trained, focused, deadly. Cassius had trained her rigorously. He taught her how to fight, how to hunt, how to stay quiet, how to survive. One day, they spotted a man running. Ferals were chasing him. Cassius decided to test Abigail. He handed her a sniper rifle. "This is your test," he said. Abigail sat down. She controlled her breathing. She aimed carefully. She fired. The man collapsed, dead. Abigail immediately realized her mistake. She had missed the feral. She had killed a human. Cassius was furious. Humans were extremely rare now. Every human life mattered. Cassius killed the ferals himself. Then he did something necessary but brutal. Before the man could turn into a feral, Cassius cut off his head. Abigail watched silently. This world allowed no mistakes. They were about to leave. Engines roared around them. Vehicles surrounded them from all sides. Armed survivors stepped out. They saw Cassius wearing the dead man's shoes. They assumed he had killed the man for supplies. Weapons were raised. Tension filled the air. A pregnant woman stepped forward. Her name was Megan. She begged everyone to stop. "These people are survivors," she said, "just like us." Before a decision could be made, the noise attracted ferals, dozens of them, then hundreds. A brutal battle followed. Gunshots echoed, people screamed. One by one, survivors were bitten. They turned. Only 4 humans escaped alive: Cassius, Abigail, Megan, and Megan's husband, David. As they fled in a car, an alpha feral watched them. He was intelligent. He was furious. He wanted revenge on Cassius. Megan spoke of a place called the Colony, also known as Boat Town, a settlement built from large ships, hidden underwater. Doctors lived there. Facilities existed there. Abigail felt hope for the first time in years. Cassius did not believe such a place could exist. But Abigail insisted. Their car suddenly broke down. The engine failed. David tried to fix it, but he had no tools. They had no choice. They left the car behind and walked. They reached an old airfield. Abigail recognized the place. Her father used to work there. She suggested finding a plane. Cassius doubted it. Planes had not flown in 10 years, but Abigail insisted. Inside the airfield, everything was abandoned. Dust everywhere. No planes on the runway. Hope faded. Then they found a small plane inside a closed garage. Old, damaged, unused for years. David inspected it. He said it could fly if repaired quickly. Ferals were approaching fast. Cassius and Abigail stood guard. David worked frantically. Abigail climbed into the cockpit. Her hands trembled. She remembered everything her father taught her. David said the engine was ready. Abigail turned the key. The engine roared. The plane began to move. Ferals crashed through the fence. They ran alongside the plane. Some jumped and grabbed the wings. Cassius was half inside and half outside the plane. A feral tried to pull him out. Cassius shot it. The plane lifted off. They were flying. Hope returned. Then smoke filled the cockpit. The engine began to fail. The plane shook violently. Cassius grabbed the controls. He aimed the plane toward thick trees. He crashed it carefully. The plane broke apart. Silence followed. They survived, injured, bruised, but alive. They had covered almost the entire distance. That night, they rested in abandoned buildings. Cassius set traps around the area. Megan thanked him. Cassius finally spoke about his past. He confessed that he had killed his infected wife. From that day, he swore to live only for himself, until he met Abigail. The next day, they continued walking. They found a clean farmhouse, green trees, electricity. It looked impossible. A scientist welcomed them inside. He cooked food, real food. They cried while eating. Slowly, they felt dizzy. They collapsed. The scientist had drugged them. When they woke up, they were tied. The scientist revealed the truth. He believed the virus was evolution. The weak should die. The strong should become ferals. He had imprisoned his infected wife. He controlled her using a device. He wanted to control all ferals, to rule the world. David broke free. The virus had already infected him. It gave him strength. They killed the scientist's zombie wife. The scientist fled. They escaped in his truck. The scientist was not done. Using his device, he sent ferals after them. The road was blocked. Ferals were behind them. David realized he was turning. He said goodbye to Megan. "For our baby," she cried. David stayed behind. He fought the ferals alone. He sacrificed himself. Cassius, Abigail, and Megan reached the river. On the other side was the colony. Boats came. Soldiers provided cover. Ferals stopped at the water. They could not cross. Inside the colony, humans lived together. Lights, homes, life. Megan gave birth to a baby girl. She lost too much blood. She died. Before dying, she made Cassius promise to raise her daughter. That night, alarms blared. The scientist returned. He had joined forces with the alpha feral. Using the device, he controlled them all. The alpha jumped into the water. The others followed. Ferals learned to cross. The colony was under attack. People ran toward an escape tunnel. Explosives were planted inside the colony. If ferals entered, the colony would be destroyed. Cassius searched for Abigail. They fought through ferals. Cassius confronted the scientist. He smashed the control device. The ferals went wild. Abigail came face to face with the alpha feral. She saw the bracelet on his wrist. Her bracelet. Her father. She froze. Cassius saved her. Abigail realized the truth. Cassius was her real father now. She pulled the trigger. The alpha fell. They reached the tunnel. Everyone escaped. A boy waited with the detonator. He waited for Abigail. When everyone was clear, he pressed the button. The colony exploded. Fire consumed the water. Ferals burned. The threat ended. Across the river, an untouched island remained. A new beginning. Cassius decided to stay. He took Abigail and the baby girl with him. Together, they walked toward hope.